Hi, I'm Greg, and welcome to Mad Gear, the show that likes to talk about mad things that you can use in the studio, and we like the madder the better. So on today's show, we're going to be looking at what I think is quite an iconic piece of equipment. It is the Roland SP 808. It came out in 1998, and then there was an update in 2000. This has the updated software from 2000, but in the nice black color from the original. Why am I talking about this? Why is this mad? Why is this on the show? Well, in this day and age, using samplers, effects, you can do all this with plugins. So why on earth am I going to go to all the trouble of using something that can basically do nothing more than what a computer can? And you'll see, mostly partly due to its workflow, and also it sounds amazing. We're going to be using a TR-808 clone. So we've got an analog drum machine here, and then over there we have another analog drum machine, which is the Arturia Drum Brute. So we have both of those coming into here. We're then using the digital effects, mostly the compression and the EQ, because it sounds amazing. And then we're going to sample that as well. So you will see maybe that there is a certain character with this. So analog, digital in 2022. But, you know, it's these things that make the difference. Oh, one other thing. This is what we record onto. This is a zip disk. It's a 100 meg one. And you might think, what? 100 megabytes? But when the floppy disk that was out, I do have some. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any for this. They held 2 megabytes. So something that held 50 times the storage space was a big deal. They made 250 meg and 750, but most samplers didn't really use those. So, and as you'll hear, they make a terrible whine, and they're quite unreliable. But other than that, they were fantastic. So we're going to get onto this, and you're going to see and hear for yourself why I think this is mad. I know some people are going, oh, that SP808, it only had 4-note polyphony, or 4 stereo tracks, or any combination of the other. It's really, really limiting. And I would go, well, yeah, Sgt. Pepper was recorded on 4 tracks. So shut up. You know, this is not a limitation. This just inspires creativity. Let's get on with this. On first impressions, the Roland SP 808 is ticking all the Mad Gear boxes. We have a load of buttons, we've got 3 knobs, we've got a very small screen, we've got some weird kind of theremin style light controller, play controls. It's like no music equipment you would see these days. This, as I said, did come out quite a long time ago. But it does have a very, very cool thing. So, first of all, we're going to need to take our zip disk, and we're going to need to put this in. Wait for it to load.
One eternity later.
It's now loaded, and we have this lovely whine. That was bringing the mic to it. We've got our line inputs, our aux inputs. You have a master output, a aux output, and then you've got additional outputs because this has the extra optional output board put in it. But to be honest, I only really use the digital output to connect to my mixer. We're gonna select an empty bank, and if I press play on my 808 clone, we can hear our drum loop. And first of all, we're going to use our effect. And we can turn the effects on and off there. You will see that it's very clear. There's a light when it's on, and a light, well, the light goes off when it's off. And you can assign these to pretty much any routing capability on the SP808. So for example, if I go to here, and you will notice that at the moment the effects location is to go on the recording part. So whether that be recording onto a track or recording onto a sample. So yeah, that's one of the things I didn't say in the introduction, is that you do have a stereo, well, an 8-track recorder, which would be 4 stereo tracks, plus the ability to sample. Now, this could do what computers could struggle to do back in 1998. So this was a pretty big deal. I would like to think that Roland, they wouldn't just put the 808 to anything. I think it had to be good. And I do really love this piece of equipment. I think it's fantastic in what it can do. So I'm changing where the effect is. The effect is now inserted on the master. And as you'll see, all of these buttons light up. So I'm going to press play. So the effect is on. You'll see straight away it makes a big difference, especially when you're working with samples or sampling off other people's records. So say, for example, John Bonham's drum loop on When the Levee Breaks, this can smash the shit out of it and turn it into something that the original, it just makes that kind of stuff massive. It's brilliant, and it's unlike any other compressor. It's not like an 1176, it's not like a G-series bus compressor. It's its own thing, and for reasons I don't know why, but I love it. It works really, really good on, as I said, line level stuff. Would I want to use it on a live vocal? I probably wouldn't, but that doesn't mean that I shouldn't. So maybe somewhere down the line in another episode, I will use this to process a vocal. Another really cool mad thing about this is that if you go to your edit section on your effect, you will see that there are numerous components to each effect, and the components within the effects change dependent on the type of effect you choose. Now, this does have the year 2000 software update, so you do get guitar amp modeling and microphone modeling. You know, this is something Slate's only just started doing, and Roland were doing this in the year 2000. You know, how mad's that? So you've got all these various different components that you can turn on and off as you wish, and you can literally just scroll it across and just turn the wheel to turn that module off. It even has a monophonic JP8000 in here that you can play with a MIDI controller, or you can program loops using the step modulator and then sample it. You know, this stuff's really mad, and as you'll see, it's so fast to sample. This gives you a workflow that is so much quicker than working with a computer. So using boxes external, I can create my own loops. So first of all, I'm going to turn the effects off, and I'm going to show you how to sample. So we press the button that says sampling. This is how straightforward it is, and you will see that it gives you the ability to either sample stereo or mono. It will tell you how long's left on the disc. So at the moment there is 23 minutes and 15 seconds. Ooh, that's a big deal back in 98. And you can also set whether you trigger manually, or you can set it to once the threshold is exceeded, or you can even get it so when you're resampling from a pad, or when you're actually playing back a sequence of samples that you've chained together. It gives you all the options. It ticks all the boxes. So, and you'll see here, where is the effect location? At the moment, it's just on the master, which means we are not going to record the sample with the effect. You can also set it whether the sample stays, you trigger it, it will stay on until you trigger it again. You can set it so the sample will play for as long as the pad is pressed down, or you can then set it to do drum, which means the sample will play for the length. Once you hit that pad, it will play for as long as the sample. To be honest, that's not really a playback that I use that often. You can then also set it to auto trim and auto divide, which is great if you are taking a load of samples off a sample CD. Remember those. And yeah, so basically I've set my threshold at level 6. So we press start stop, it will say waiting signal. Our loop is 2 bars long and the tempo is 97 beats per minute and it's in a full 4-time signature. So let's play it. 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. So let's stop that. It'll do it. And there you go. We haven't looped it yet, but before we go to the loop part, now this is another mad thing compared to what we're used to. This offers one level of undo stroke redo. That's it. So what that means is you have to commit. The worst thing that's been introduced over the last 30 years for musicians and engineers and producers, in my opinion, is the unlimited undo, because it means you never commit. When you have limited options, you have to make those commitments and stick to it. So yeah, it's a bit nerve-wracking in 2022, but you go back to the late 60s, early 70s when they only had 4 tracks on a recorder. Hey, they took it in their stride. I think we could learn something from that experience. You can see undo, redo. There you go. Moving on to looping on this. So we press our trim. There you go, straight away. Go straight to this point. And we know that you'll see that it's playing in crotchets. And the loop is 8 beats long. So it tells me here at the moment that of the sample length that it is, it's 84.5 beats. But we know that it is 97. So I go to my length end and I just basically reduce that until it says 97 BPM. So we can, oh, wrong way. 97 beats per minute. I'm going to set it to trigger and you will hear a seamless loop as quick as that. How easy, how fast. You're not going to get that workflow on a computer. And I haven't even had to look at a waveform. It does give you the ability to look at a waveform as in the start point and the end point. But if you've already got a little bit of information working with loops and stuff like that. So now we're going to go back to our effect. We're going to come out of that and we're going to go sampling again. This time we're going to change the effects location to be on the record. And you'll see that it's only going to come on this track. We're going to press start again. We're going to wait for the signal. And you will immediately put the sample on pad number 2. 2, 2, 3, 4. Again, we go to trim. We go down to the length. We know it's 8 crotchets. And we just turn that so it is 97 beats per minute, nearly there. Oh. And this should be looped up as quick as that. There you go, really fast, really quick. I'm going to play this. 1 is unaffected loop, 2 is with the effect. Once you've sampled with an effect on, you can choose another effect, add that to the sample, resample again, and keep adding stuff that way because you only have, whilst it is, this effects unit has lots of effects, you can only use 1 at any one time, which means again you have to go back to that commitment. So that is a brief introduction to the Roland SP 808, and in this day and age, I think it is quite mad because it is so different to our typical way of using or making music. The easiest way I can summarize this is a box you play whereas a computer is a box you use. But what do you think? You write in the comments beneath. If there's anything else that you would like me to do in terms of going into a more full depth tutorial on this, put it in the comments and I will do that. If you completely disagree with me and you think, no, why on earth would I want to go back to 1998 when I can do things, show me your preferred or write your preferred way of working. Thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next episode.